Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on Underwater Acoustic Wireless Sensor Network. My name is Mrs. D. Jayabharati, Head and Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, GVN College. Today, we are presenting Underwater Acoustic Wireless Sensor Network presented by Dr. N. Krishnaveni. She is our alumni. Now she is working as Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Holy Cross Home Science College, Thuthukudi. Before we start, let me explain how you can talk to us during the webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation, just write them to chat box. All of you clear? Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Krishnaveni ma'am, time is yours. Let's start the session. Krishnaveni ma'am?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Good evening, all. Hope I'm clear. I would like to thank the Secretary, Principal, Director of GVN College for giving me such an opportunity to share my knowledge. My sincere thanks to the Head of the Department, Mrs. Jayabharati, for inviting me to give a lecture to you all. Also, I thank the organizing committee and student organizer who is working hard behind this webinar to make it great success. Finally, I thank Reverend Dr. Sister Mary Gilda, Principal, Holy Cross Home Science College, Thuthukudi, who is there for me always in my struggles and guides me towards the step of success. Good evening, participants. I welcome you all to the webinar, which is entitled Underwater Acoustic Wireless Sensor Network. As we all know, water is the major thing which plays an important role in our life. Also, we have to accept that the technology is also playing a major role in our life. Whatever things we are using in our daily life, it is built up of technology. In this webinar, we are going to see how the technology is being implemented in the natural water resource, especially in the ocean. So before going into this topic, I would like to play a video which conveys a lot of messages to us, and it tells why this webinar is very much important at this point of time. So you just watch the video. Hope you all had that video. So what that video is trying to tell, yeah, that is conveying that the water is getting polluted, that is the ocean is getting polluted. We all know our earth is 75% covered by the water. That water, that is particularly the ocean, is having so many marine animals and so many varieties of plants inside it. One thing we have to wonder about the ocean is the self-cleaning process. See, we don't use any equipment or any type of chemicals to clean our ocean, but still it is crystal clear. How? Have an example of a swimming pool or a water tank in your house. You have to clean it once a month or twice a month. If you are not doing it, the water will get spoiled and you may get some diseases. But think about the ocean, which is full of water for 24/7. It is clear how it is cleaning by itself, because the ocean, the beautiful underwater world, is created with so many marine animals and so many creatures and so many plants which do its work. They are cleaning their living space as a part of their life so that the ocean is very clear. But nowadays, we people were started destroying the ocean. That is, self-cleaning process is being disturbed by the human. We are sending so many chemicals, we are putting so many waste, and we are disturbing them by overfishing also. We are taking the organisms, and we are taking so many natural resources inside the ocean, and we are disturbing their cleaning process. So due to that, the water started getting contaminated, and it cannot able to do its own cleaning process. So when this ocean is getting disturbed and it is getting polluted day by day, when it started extending, it started affecting the human lives. Until that, nobody get a notice into the ocean. Once the ocean pollution is starting to affect the human lives, the researchers and the experts turn their focus towards the ocean pollution. And now they want to know the factors that are polluting the ocean. They want to have a study what are all the factors are affecting those organisms and why the self-cleaning process is being disturbed. So how to know the factors that are affecting the ocean? They need to communicate. They need to communicate with whom? They need to communicate with the ocean to know the factors that are disturbing the ocean. So the only medium of communication is the technology. So this is how the technology entered the deep ocean. So what they did, they built an instrument. They built an instrument with a memory, with a battery, and all the things that needed to record the factors that are affecting the ocean. So this instrument is placed under deep sea. And after a few days, this instrument is removed from the sea, and by using the data that is stored inside the instrument is used to know the factors that are affecting the sea. This is how the technology took over the ocean underwater world. Okay. So when the days are going, the sea is getting more and more polluted, because if we get one factor and if we are trying to overcome the pollution about that factor, 3 new factors are started affecting the ocean. So day by day, the number of factors affecting the ocean is getting increased. So the experts felt hard, and they struggled a lot to find out the list of factors. So the solution to this is they have to update the equipment which is being placed under the ocean. So they developed a network. Instead of an instrument, they developed a network, and that network is deployed under the ocean. Through that network, they started communicating with the ocean, and through that they extracted all the data and the factors that are being affecting the ocean. So such network is known as underwater sensor network. So under the bottom of the ocean, this sensor nodes is used to get the oceanographic data collection, pollution monitoring, offshore exploration, and surveillance. For all these applications, they started using a well-known network known as underwater acoustic sensor network. Okay, hope you are all clear with just a small introduction. And now this is the agenda what we are going to see today. Okay, what is underwater acoustic wireless sensor network? See, the topic is just a sentence with 5 words: underwater acoustic wireless sensor network. So hope many of the participants were very aware of all these words. But these words together forms a unique thing which we were not aware of. That's what we are going to see today. Somebody is muting me. And the second one is, what is the difference between the old and new underwater sensor network? And the third one is, why underwater acoustic sensor networks? there are many sensor networks available in this technological world. But why we are selecting underwater acoustic sensor network for this purpose? And the fourth one is autonomous underwater vehicle. What is underwater vehicle and why this vehicle is being used in this network? And the fifth topic is architectures. Every network has an architecture. So what type of architecture is this sensor network having? And applications. What are all the fields that are using this wireless sensor network? That is what we are going to see in that topic. And challenges. Obviously, when we have an advanced network, we will, by the same path, we will have a challenge that we have to face. So these are the things we are going to see today in the webinar. Okay, what is a sensor? See, sensor is a device that receives and responds to the signal. If an expert or a requester needs something to be get from the sensor, we have to send our query as a signal to the sensor. That sensor will respond to the expert or the requester with a collection of data in the form of signal. We, the human being, are having so many senses like hearing, tasting, smelling, feeling, and seeing. So these are the senses that we human have. In the same way, the sensors are also having sensors like temperature, pressure, light, sound, and many other things. A sensor can sense these types of sensors like temperature, pressure, light, sound, and many are there that the sensor can sense, and it can record it as a data and it can give to the requester. So I hope you all understood what is sensor. So now it is what is wireless sensor network. See, sensor is a single device. Okay, so sensor network is nothing but then a group of sensors. Okay, a group of sensors which are dispersed and dedicated for monitoring and recording the physical condition of the environment. So these group of sensors are known as sensor network. Since they communicate through wireless transmission, it is known as wireless sensor network. This network is used in this environment, in this atmosphere, to record the conditions or to measure the conditions like temperature, sound, pollution level, humidity, wind, and so many parameters are there which the sensor can record. And all these recorded thing by sensor will be sent to the requester or the user through signals. Okay. So we got clear about wireless sensor network. And underwater, there is no need of any explanation. It is deep under the ocean. Now we have to know the word, what is acoustic and why this particular word is being highlighted in the topic. See, acoustic is nothing but it is a word related to sound or a sense of hearing. We can predict it as a sound wave. We can predict it as a sound wave. See, so many waves are there. We know so many waves are there to communicate with the machines. Like a remote used to communicate with the TV by using infrared rays. So every machine will communicate with us through some signals. Like that, we need a signal to communicate with the sensor which is placed under the sea. So we are having electromagnetic signal, optical waves, and so many waves are available in network. But here we are selecting acoustic signal for communication because it gives a good result than the other waves. See the picture, we are having laser waves and blue LED and microwave and acoustic wave. Better than all other things, acoustic wave is performing better. Apart from all other waves, acoustic wave is performing better because it can travel a long distance under the water. See, water is a density. sea water, that to ocean is a highly density water, and there are many particles which distracts the signal. The particles will distract the signals. If the signal is getting distracted, then the data carried out through the signal may be lost. So we need a data without any loss. For that purpose, and because of this long distance traveling of signal, we are selecting the acoustic wave for underwater communication. So this word is being used in this underwater wireless sensor network. One more great news, that is a wonderful news, is researchers have researched and they have announced that when an astronaut sends a message from a moon to Earth, okay, we will get that news in 1.2 seconds of delay. But when a sensor sends a message from the deep under of the ocean, the message comes to the onshore. Okay, a message comes to the onshore with 7 seconds of delay. See how much time it takes to travel under the water. So that much density and that much disturbance are there in the water. Since to avoid all those things, we are using acoustic signals under the water for communication. Okay. So you must have been cleared with the title, Underwater Acoustic Wireless Sensor Network. So the title should be clear at this point of time. Okay. Now let's come and explain why we are using this. Okay. As I told you already, in previous method, that is existing method, what they used is they built an instrument. Okay, they built an instrument, and that instrument will have memory chip, battery, backup, and all other sensors, everything, whatever things are needed to record under the ocean, everything will be built inside the instrument, and that instrument will be launched. That instrument will be launched under the bottom of the sea. If I am the expert who is launching the device, and if I need a record of 1 week, okay, I need the recorded data for 1 week, I have to wait for 1 week. I have to launch the device under the sea, and I have to wait for 1 week. And after 1 week, I can take the device and I can take the data from the memory card which is being placed inside the instrument. Okay, this is the existing method. It is being used, okay, before this network, underwater network. This is the method they were using for taking the data from under the sea. So this method had so many disadvantages. So one by one, let's see. There is no real-time data monitoring. Okay, see, we have to wait for a long time to get the data. If we want 1 week of data, we have to wait for 1 week, and the last day only we will get the data. That is the first disadvantage of this existing method. And then second one is no interaction is possible. See, if I am designing the instrument for a particular purpose, like I want to measure the salt level of the sea, I have to design the instrument according to my query, and I have to launch. In between, I can't change my question because I have programmed the instrument for only to monitor the salt level. I can't change my question. I can't change my program when it has been launched. Okay. If I want to change, I have to take the instrument out of the sea, and then I have to program again, and again we have to launch it under the bottom of the sea. So this is the second, no interaction is possible with the instrument. And then third one is, if failure or misconfiguration occurs, it is not intimated to the launcher or the expert outside. So I'm waiting for 1 week, and I'm taking the instrument for looking into the data. And what happens if there is no data being recorded due to the failure of the instrument? So the effort I took for this much of time being wasted. So we need a system which should intimate me that my system is not working properly under the sea. So that is the another disadvantage of this existing system. And then the last one is the amount of data collected. See, you are having a mobile phone. Few mobiles will have the capacity to save 100 GB of data, and few mobiles will have 500 GB of memory. It depends upon the instrument and cost of the instrument. By the same way, here also the instrument can have a limited number of limited capacity of memory. According to the instrument, the memory differs. So when I'm sending the instrument under the sea, and if my memory is getting full, then the remaining data will be lost. So what is the purpose of my waiting, and what is the purpose of my research? I may lose the data. So these are the disadvantages they faced with the olden system, and hence they were entered into the underwater acoustic wireless sensor network. Okay. Anyway, when we are going for a technology in advance, we may face some challenges also. For every advancement, there will be some few disadvantages. Here, the cost of underwater sensor network is little bit high than the instrument we are launching. And deployment is little bit difficult because it is just a single deployment and taking. But here we are going to build a network under the water. That is not that much easy, right? We are going to build a network under the water. So deployment is very difficult in underwater sensor network. And power. If you are sending an instrument, power management is very easy. Okay, for 1 week I can predict how much power I need, and I can have the power backup for 1 week, and I can send the instrument into the water. But here it is a network which is going to be stable there for so many days. And what about the power? We need high power, and we have to supply that much power to those sensors. So that is a big deal with the underwater sensor network. And then memory. See, that a memory can be changed. You can take the instrument and you can have a memory. Here, the sensor nodes will record the data, and it will keep on sending the data to you through the acoustic signals. So we need a memory, caching memory to take all those data and store. So memory is a big deal with this underwater sensor network, but it is better compared to the old one. Okay. Now we are going for autonomous underwater vehicle. So we all know what is vehicle, right? Autonomous underwater vehicle. Why such vehicle is being used? Yes, we need this vehicle to launch a network under the water. If you are building a house, or if you are constructing an apartment in a place, survive is very important. Survey. You have to survey whether that particular area is good for residential, and whether that place or that land is capable of having 7th-floor building. Everything we have to check, and that survey is very much important before putting your building there. Such a survey should be taken under the water also to launch our network under the water. So who will survey that? Again, we need a technology to go and take a survey, and I need a map where I should place my network under the water. So such thing is done by underwater vehicle. Okay, it is a long cylinder-like device, and this device is a robot. Okay, it is a autonomous. It works automatically, and the control can be held by the expert outside. They can control the vehicle. This vehicle travels towards the bottom of the sea, and it captures the map. It captures the map of the seafloor, and also it gives us the physical, chemical, and biological properties of the water. Say this area is highly salt, so I need a sensor node which contains certain coating outside. Okay, otherwise the salt will destroy my sensor. Okay, here the soil is this much soft, so I need an anchor to fix my sensor node strongly there. So how do we all know this? That work is done by this underwater vehicle. It gives the physical, chemical, and biological properties of the water, and also it gives a map of the seafloor. By using this, we can build our network safely under the water. So to have a better idea about what is this underwater vehicle, I'll show you a video how this underwater vehicle is being sent into the water and how it takes the image or take a map of a seafloor. Have this video.
Krishnaveni? Krishnaveni ma'am? Audio is very low.
Krishnaveni ma'am.
Audio is very low, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, Krishnaveni ma'am?
Hope you all viewed that video. So that is how the underwater vehicle is being launched under the water. It's an advertisement of one of the company of underwater vehicle. Okay. So there are two types of underwater vehicle as we have. The thing which we saw in that video is fully autonomous because it has the power and memory, everything inside it. Okay. So two types. One is solar powered underwater vehicle, and the second one is fully autonomous vehicle. Okay. Solar power is the first figure. Okay. Here there is a flat surface which creates the power by itself. See, when we are launching this type of underwater vehicle, it goes, and when the battery is going down, it automatically floats on the sea. Okay, it automatically floats on the sea, and by using solar, it creates its own energy and power, and then again it goes to do its work. So that is the solar powered underwater vehicle, and this is fully autonomous. The fully autonomous is the second one. The fully autonomous we have to set the power. We have to give the power backup inside the vehicle and memory backup inside the vehicle. When the battery is getting down, we will get intimation to the expert in the offshore, and then we can take the equipment out, and we have to re-back up the power, and then we have to send it again. So that is the difference between the solar power and fully autonomous. Okay. Now we are going to the portion of architecture. Say, whenever we build a house, we used to design how we are going to build this house. The same way here, when we are building a network, we need to set up an architecture for uninterrupted communication. So there are two types of architectures in wireless sensor network, underwater wireless sensor network. That is 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. So we know what is 2D and 3D, but how it works in this network we are going to see. This is the 2-dimensional. This is the 2-dimensional underwater acoustic sensor network. See clearly, and this one, right? This one is outside the sea. This portion is outside the sea, and these two portions are on the sea. Okay, this is surface sink and this is surface station. Okay, here this portion is under the ocean. This is the bottom of the ocean. The area from where we have to collect the data, that data is being selected, and inside that data, inside that platform, we are launching our wireless sensor nodes. Okay, this is wireless sensor nodes. These nodes are being deployed in the area from where we have to get the data. Okay, so such nodes are here and there, they have deployed, and they were fixed. Okay, listen, they were fixed. They were fixed in the bottom of the sea by using anchors. They can't move. In 2-dimensional, they can't move. They were fixed inside the bottom of the sea by using anchors. And here we are having one more equipment. This is underwater sink, and this sink acts as a head. Is a head. This head will form a cluster. Cluster is nothing but a group. Okay, this head forms a group with sensor nodes which are near to them, and they form a group, and this sink acts as a head. Here we are having 3 clusters. There are 3 groups, and each group is having one sink. Okay, now we have to see about the vertical link and horizontal link. Okay, these links, both the link were using acoustic signal here. Okay, so this horizontal link, okay, when a sensor node want to communicate with the sink, it uses the horizontal link. Okay, when the sink want to communicate with the surface station, it uses the vertical link. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, vertical link. Okay, here we have to understand one thing. Here we are having this vertical link and horizontal link are used for communication, and this one is known as transmitter. This one is known as, the antenna-like structure is known as transmitters. These were used to send the data outside the sea. Okay, they used to transfer the data outside the sea using satellite or using the data. Okay, using the internet. Okay, here there are 2 types of communication available, that is single path and multi-path. We all know about what is single path and multi-path. Okay, here single path can also be used and multi-path can also be used. For example, take this cluster. Okay, take this cluster. here this particular sensor node is communicating with the sink directly. Okay, this is direct path. This is direct path, and this node is also communicating with the sink directly, and like the same way this one is also communicating directly and this one is also communicating directly. But take this sensor network sensor. Okay, what this sensor network is doing is it is sending the data to the sensor which is nearby it, and this sensor is sending the data to this sensor, and this one is sending to the sink. So this is indirect path. Okay, so there are two types of paths we can use for sending the data. One is direct and the second one is indirect. This is how the two-dimensional underwater acoustic sensor network works. Okay, so this is what I have explained you already. There are two transceivers, that is horizontal and vertical. So why horizontal is used and vertical is used? Horizontal is used to communicate to the sink, and vertical is used to communicate with the sink station. Okay, and then transmitters are used by the surface sink and onshore sink to communicate. And there are two paths. One is direct and the second one is multi-hop. In direct link, each sensor can send the message directly to the sink. Okay. In this, we are having advantage, that is, this is the simplest method. Direct communication is very simplest method. But here we are having two disadvantages. One is the network throughput will be reduced. Network throughput will be reduced. And the second one is energy will not be that much efficient, because if the sink node is far away from the sensor, we need more energy to communicate with the sink. So that is the disadvantage with this direct link. Okay. Coming to multi-hop part. Here, a sensor cannot send the message directly to the sink. It has to send the data to the another sensor which is nearby, and likewise it goes, the chain goes and it reaches the sink. Okay. So here, the advantage is energy is saved, because we are not going to travel much. We are just sending the message to the nearby node. Okay, and then increases the network capacity. Okay, so disadvantage is routing functionality is very difficult here, because if I want to send a data to a node which is nearby me, I should ensure whether that nearby node is free to take my message. If it is free, I have to go for another node which is nearby me. Okay, if all the nodes nearby me is busy with some other work, I have to wait until any of them are getting free and they were ready to take my message. So like this, routing functionality is a great disadvantage in two-dimensional underwater sensor network. So they went for a three-dimensional underwater sensor network. So what is the difference between two-dimensional and three-dimensional? We all know two-dimensional is a flat image, right? Three-dimensional is a 3D image, which you can have a view of all sides of the object. Like the same way, here also you can have a view of all the parts of the sea around the sensor. I will explain it. See, here also we are having sensor nodes, but please notice there is no sink node here. There is no sink node here, and there is no cluster here. Okay, so the cost of sink is getting reduced, and the cost of having a cluster is also getting reduced here. Here we are having only the sensor nodes, and these sensor nodes are also fixed to the bottom of the sea by using the anchor. Okay, what is the difference? In two-dimensional also it is being fixed under the sea by using the anchor, and here also it is being used fixed under the sea using the anchor. The difference is, we are, look into this, we are having a chain. We are having a chain from this anchor to the node. So what is the use of this chain? In two-dimensional, a node which is fixed under the water can't move. Okay, if you are having a Wi-Fi in your home, you can access the Wi-Fi only to a particular dimension. Okay, if you want to access beyond the dimension, you will get a poor net connection. Like the same way, if a sensor node is fixed to a particular place, it can record the data only for a particular distance around it. Okay. Here, the sensor node is movable. The sensor node is movable. There is a link between the anchor and the sensor, and this chain, right? The chain between the anchor and the sensor node can be controlled by the experts outside the scene. Okay, we can control the chain. We can able to, it is like a remote, we can able to move the sensor node a little upper of the level, or we can go side or this side, left, right, all the sides we can move. We can control the depth. We can control the depth so that we can have a data better than two-dimensional. So the number of sensor nodes can also be reduced. You know, because fixed sensor node can cover only up to 2 kilometers, means for the next 2 kilometers we need another sensor. But here we can able to move this sensor node little bit. So we can cover more 1 kilometer more than the 2 dimension. So here, instead of 5 sensor nodes in 2 dimension, here we can reduce at least 1 sensor node, which is very cost effective for the network. So this is how the 2-dimensional, 3-dimension works. And one more thing is, here there is no vertical link and all, only acoustic vertical link is alone used. And one more thing you have to notice here is, here there is no direct communication. Okay, here there is only multi-communication is applicable, because sensor nodes since there is no sync node, you can't send the data to sync, and the sync will communicate to the surface station. But here there is no sync, so all the nodes has to send their data to the nearby node, and that nearby node will transfer the data to the next nearby node. By like a chain, it goes until it reaches the surface station. Here this node is sending the data here, and this node is sending data here, and from here it is reaching the surface station. So this is multi-hop chain, multi-hop pathing. Here no single way communication is available. So this is given as a theory here. And what are the challenges? Sensing coverage. See, sensing coverage is, we can regulate their depth, right? We can regulate their depth. See, first, if one sensor is covering 2 kilometers, okay, we must be clear that the other sensor should not cover the same distance which is being covered by the previous sensor. If there is a sensor, for example, have sensor 1 and sensor 2. I am using sensor 1 to cover 2 kilometers around the sensor. Okay, and sensor 2 is covering 2 kilometers apart from this 2 kilometers. Okay, so if I lift the chain, or if I have a control and if I move the chain little bit far, it may cover the same space which is covered by sensor 1. Hope you all understood. Okay, so this type of covering, what it will happen is the duplication of data may occur. Say, sensor 1 is also covering few part of sensor 2, and sensor 2 is also covering few part of sensor 1. What happens? A repetition of data may occur. So we have to be very careful with sensing coverage of each sensor. That is a challenge in 3-dimensional wireless sensor network. And then communication coverage. I told you, no, communication here, there is no single path communication, only multi-hop path is used. Okay, so we need at least all the sensor to have one path to the surface station, because all the nodes may communicate with the surface station. So we need all the sensor nodes to have at least one path to the surface station. So this is the challenging three-dimensional underwater sensor network. Okay. Then coming to the application. See, there are so many fields which are using this underwater wireless sensor network. So many applications are there. I have listed only few. See, this wireless sensor network is being used for finding the underwater information in a very fastest way. Better than any other network, this network will give you the fast information from the underwater. And it can be used to get the data, and we can prevent the disasters also. And then ocean sampling network. So in this ocean sampling network, this underwater acoustic sensor network is also playing a part of it. And then environmental monitoring. We can use this underwater wireless sensor network for environmental monitoring. And mine observation is also done by using this network. We can use this network for pollution monitoring, and then tactical surveillance can also be done by using this underwater wireless sensor network. And the last thing is challenges. So what are all the challenges we are facing by using this underwater acoustic wireless sensor network? Is the devices are more costly than other things, because see, all the sensor nodes which we are keeping outside the water is something different, but the device we are keeping inside the water must be water resistant, and it should not be destroyed by the water. So the devices are very costly in underwater sensor device, okay, sensor network. And hardware protection requirements. See, if we are putting some nodes inside and we are placing so many equipments inside to build up the architecture, those things should be maintained, and those hardware should be protected from all other marine animals, and also from the chemicals that are and the salt content in the ocean. So from everything we have to protect the hardware, and that protection is very much difficult in this underwater wireless sensor network. We need high energy for communication. See, communication by using acoustic signal is not that much easy, because other signals are very efficient and it is very easily applicable, but acoustic signals are not that much easily applicable, and traveling towards the water content is a hectic task for the signal. It should reach the expert without any data loss and without any distraction. So it needs high energy for communication. It should travel like anything it should propagate it. The signal should propagate the water, and it should reach the expert in a good quality. That is a big deal with this underwater wireless sensor. And then propagation delay. Already I have told you that the communication from a moon to earth is 1.2 seconds. Okay, but under the ocean to the earth, under the ocean to the shore of the sea, it takes 7 seconds. So this delay plays a major role in the communication. And then bandwidth size limitation. See, under the water, see, in normal life, we are having many bandwidth disturbance. We are getting signal weak and good signal, sometimes good bad signal at sometimes. We are having good bandwidth in some locations and poor bandwidth in some locations. Think of underwater where the bandwidth is a great deal. Okay, so that should be managed efficiently when we are executing this underwater wireless sensor network. Okay, so bandwidth size limitation is a big deal here, and hope I have given so many things to you, but within this 1 hour of time, only I can explain an overview of what is underwater vehicle, underwater wireless sensor network. If we go into this thing deeply, we have so many questions to be answered. So one by one, if you want to clear, we should have further sessions to clear one by one. What I request all the participants is, please do come into this underwater also, because we are going for research and we are doing so many research, we are writing so many articles, but only very few were taking interest in this underwater acoustic wireless sensor network. But what I think is, this is the area which we have to focus right now to make the marine animals, or take the marine animals from this danger. Okay, we have to help the environment to come out of this pollution. So there are many research topics inside this. This just 20 slides, which has very less content, but each and every slide is having 100 questions, and each question is a research topic. So get into it. Take a line, you will get a question. That question is your research. Do a research and get an answer for every question. Let's explore the world. Okay. Thank you so much. Now you can post your queries, and if I know the answer, I can answer you.
Thank you, Krishnaveni. Nice presentation, very useful for us.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishnaveni. Hello? Are you hear me?
Is there anyone
Yes, sir.
can give your feedback, or you can give your queries?
Okay, nice presentation, Krishnaveni, very useful for us.
Thank
We
you,
will go
sister.
ahead and take some questions. Now, just a reminder, please be sure, type your question in chat box.
Is there anyone? Do you have any queries? You can post.
Post in chat box.
Say one question: how to control pollution using this network, and is it possible in Tuticorin? Yeah, ma'am. It is being used in Tuticorin. The fisheries department, they were using this network efficiently, but when seeing to the pollution control, it is not that much used. Just they were using in fisheries department to have a survey of number of species inside. For that purpose they are using, and there are many offices for this underwater wireless sensor network. In Tamil Nadu itself, we are having so many centers for this, but we were not aware and we were not into it. That's it.
Good afternoon to one and all. Ma'am, first of all, I thank our Secretary Sir to guide all of us in a great way. Next, I would like to thank our Principal Ma'am and gave us a great opportunity to conduct this auspicious occasion. Next, I would like to thank our Director Sir to encourage the whole department. Next, I would like to thank our department backbone, our beloved HOD, Mrs. D. Jayabharati.
Sure, I will share the PPT to all the registered mail ID.
Okay,
ma'am.
sure.
Next, I would like to thank our student organizer, Kanimoli, and our department staff members, and all the participants from various colleges. And thank our management, and thank you all. Thank you so much, ma'am.